Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Y'all come on in. Let me share. Hey, you guys. Good morning. Good morning. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. I'm running a little late. I got a headache today, you guys. Y'all pray for me. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Mm, mm. Hey, baby boy, how you doing? Hey, Alita. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Marquenta. You guys, listen. This word. This word. This word. This word. Hey, Mike. This word. Hey, Britt. What's going on? What's going on? I'm telling y'all this word. This word. This word. I'm telling you this word. This word. This word, this word, this word. Y'all, let me tell y'all something about God. I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all, listen. And people can say what they want to. They can believe what they want to. Like, I'm a firm believer that, you don't force God on people. You don't force your mandate on people. But what you have to do is be obedient to the Spirit of God. You got to be obedient to the Spirit of God, like no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what anybody feels, you got to be obedient to the Spirit of God. And so, one of the things that God has been really pressing upon me is do it anyway. Do it anyway. Do it even though you don't want to do it. Do it even though you don't know how it's going to work. Do it even though you don't know when it's going to manifest, when it's going to produce, when the harvest will come. Do it anyway. See, when God tells you to do something, you got to do that thing. If you don't do it, it is sin. Let me say that again, because I want to be real clear about this, because I think some people out there, particularly people in the church, think that they got it right. But God will tell them to do something and they won't do it. And they're like, well, I keep the commandments, but you're sinning against God because you're not doing what God told you to do. I don't care nothing about you keeping the commandments. If God tells you to do something and you don't do it, that is sin. See, we don't want to talk about that sin. We want to talk about the sin of just following the commandments. But when God commands you to do something, when God tells you to do something and you fail to do it, you are then living a life of sin. Now, you may say, well, Dr. V, but that's different from other sin. No, no, no. No, no, no. Sin is sin. And you got to make sure that you just do what God tells you. It is not your job to figure everything out. It's not your job. It's not your job to figure everything out. It's not your job to know how everything's going to go. It's not your job. It is your job to simply do what God has told you to do. And let him do the rest. If you do that, he will give you clarity. He will send the people. He will give you strategy. He will do all that and some more. In the midst of it, in the midst of you doing what he's told you to do. When it came to launching the ministry, I did not want to do that. And I was in sin because God had told me to do it a while ago and I didn't. I didn't want to be bothered with it because I was disappointed from the last time, because I was hurt and wounded from the last time, because I didn't want the extra pressure that people put on you when you're a pastor to be perfect, to not make mistakes, to not be human. I didn't want it at all. I said, God, nope, nope. Last time, remember what they said? Okay, now I'm good. I'm good, God, because I never lie about who I am. I'm never going to say that I'm somebody that I'm not. I'm never going to pretend that I'm something that I'm not. I'm never going to do that. But when you are a pastor, people don't give you any room. There's no room for your humanity. There's no room for you to have a struggle or to have the same struggles that they have. There's no room for it. And see, this is where people are messing up. See, you all are putting pastors on pedestals that they were not created to occupy. Let me say that again. You all are putting pastors on pedestals that they were not created to occupy. You're making pastors God, and they are not God with a capital G. Okay. So I need you to understand that. So the moment you put a pastor on a pedestal that they are not created to occupy, and they step off the pedestal or they fall off the pedestal, then you all upset, you devastated, you traumatized. Oh, I knew these pastors wasn't real. No, you knew you were putting your faith and your hope and your confidence in a person instead of in the one who created the person. God talks about this when we worship the created things rather than the creator of those created things, the one who shaped and fashioned and formed those things. See, we worshiping wrong. We worshiping wrong. We worshiping the pastors and not God. My pastor, my pastor, my pastor. Well, guess what? Your pastor's human like all the other pastors is human. They have humanity. They have struggles. They have flaws. They have their own issues. They've got the thorn in their side. You may not know their thorn, but I promise you they've got one. They've got that area of their life where God's grace is sufficient, just like you do. So stop putting pastors on this pedestal. That's not what they were created for. Pastors were created to shepherd, to lead, to guide, not to be perfect. And so now we got church hurt. You hurt because you discovered your pastor was a human. You hurt because your pastor said something that hurt your feelings. You hurt because you discovered that your pastor was committing fornication, adultery. You hurt because you discovered that your pastor lies. You hurt because you discovered that your pastor was jealous and envious and had an anger problem. You hurt because your pastor this, and you hurt because your pastor that. Are they not human? So what is your great devastation? Your devastation is you was worshiping them. That's what your devastation comes from. You had these super expectations of them. I know I've been guilty of it. You can't do it. You can't do it. And then you want to crucify the pastor for their humanity, for doing something that's probably much worse than anything that you've done or are doing. But you crucified them. That's flaw. I'm just telling y'all, in the streets, that's flaw. You operating on a double standard. If you're going to hold the pastor to a standard, you better... I almost took a page out of my brother's book. Y'all gonna be calling me the cussing prophet for real. If you gonna hold a pastor to a standard, you better definitely make sure you holding yourself to that same standard and you living up to it. Now, I don't know why this is what's coming out of my mouth right now, because this is not what I planned on talking about. But clearly there's something going on in the atmosphere. And I'm telling y'all, listen, I get church hurt. I get that. But y'all, it's time for us to move beyond that church hurt thing and figure out what is it that God was trying to teach us in the midst of that. Because nothing happens to us that God does not allow. Nothing happens to us that God does not allow. If it happened, he allowed it. So now you need to ask yourself the question, God, why did you allow this to come to me? What is this to do for me? Because everything that happens for you, not to you. It happens for you. Sometimes it happens to save you, to rescue you, to prevent you from going down a path that you're going to regret going down. But we mad with God because we wanted it. You better thank God that you didn't get it. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Let go of those people anyway. Let go. Let go. Move out of that place anyway. Move. Move. Say what God said anyway. Say it. Say it. Listen, we hold so much stuff in, and then stuff comes out on people that it's not intended for. People that have nothing to do with it, because we done held it in all this time. And we got to stop that. We got to direct stuff where it needs to be directed. We need to deal with what needs to be dealt with. We need to have the conversations that we need to have. And we need to stop being punks. And I'm not talking about homosexual, gays, lesbians, transgenders. I'm talking people that's scared to talk, to have conversations. What is that? What is that? What is that? Now we got to do better. We got to do better. Have a conversation. Say what you need to say. Say it. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. One of the things about me is I'd much rather say what I need to say and move on than to hold that stuff in and just have stuff fuming. And only to discover, check this out, peep this right here. Only to discover, what is this cuss that is on me today? My God, there is a cuss on me. I promise you, Father. What is this cuss? Only to discover that the stuff that you were upset about, what you thought it was, wasn't even what it was. So it was a whole misunderstanding. Why? Why? Brother, you done came out here and brought that cussing spirit. No, I've had a cuss in my spirit because it's some stuff that I'm upset about. I'm going to tell y'all something. You know, yesterday was a little off day for me. I felt off. Now, part of it was, listen, Tammy, a cuss is going to come out today. I'm telling y'all in advance, a cuss is going to come out. I done caught several, but I feel in my spiritualizations that one is going to come out, or maybe two. It may be more, but I'm telling y'all it's going to come out. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Because sometimes people don't understand stuff unless you cuss them. You gotta cuss them. I didn't say curse them. Now listen, there is a difference. See, what I will not do is speak a curse over anybody, but I might cuss you. I might cuss you because you need a good cuss. Because then maybe you'll know it's serious. Then maybe you'll get it. Then maybe you'll wake up. Then maybe you'll realize it's real. Listen, we've been taught to censor so much and hold in so much. And listen, and it creates this whole blockage in us. And then we wonder why we sick and stuff. Sometimes some of y'all just need to get that cuss out that you've been holding in for a good long time. Just get it out and be done with it. So listen, let me tell y'all. Yesterday was a little off day for me. Now, I know that I had the whole thing that was going on with the seafood. You know, there was some poisoning that was going on. But I was off. I felt off. I immediately said, and I didn't check it. I said, listen, what's going on with the moon? Is something going on with the moon? Because I felt like there was some pull, some planetary pull that was going on. Something was going on, something that was going on that was outside of just me, outside of me just feeling a certain way. I felt like something was going on with the moon. Now, I know some of you church folks are going to say, oh my God, you can't be looking at the moon and the stars. And you go, listen, God created the moon and the stars. He created the patterns of the universe. God created that. I'll never give the enemy that. I'll never give the enemy control of that. The church is giving the enemy control of things that God created. Nah, the devil is a lie. Mercury's in retrograde. And when Mercury's in retrograde, like you be off. You be off. Your communication is off. Like it's just some things, some pulls and forces that are going against you in some ways that you may not understand. Listen, I know for y'all super spiritual people, I know that y'all are going to say, oh my God, that's worshiping the stars. That's astrology. That is not of God. That is witchcraft. No, that is wisdom. When you come to understand that everything that God created, he created with purpose. It is designed to do more than just sit up in the sky. It is designed to provide us with signs and indications and understanding of ourselves and the world that is going on around us. But we in the church miss it. Why? We so freaking spiritual that we don't pay attention to what God gave us to pay attention to. We want to. We miss so much of what God has given us, created us to use, to understand, to know. We miss it in our spiritualizations. And I want y'all to understand something. And I want y'all to be real clear about this. A lot of religion as we know it is misinterpreted because the people that interpreted were not the original people who got it. How can you understand something from your cultural perspective that you didn't get? Like it's coming from a different cultural perspective, a different worldview. So then you try to take it and put it in your worldview. It's going to be skewed. Y'all want me to talk about it? Y'all want me to talk about it? Y'all want me to talk about the skewing? The cultural misappropriation of the word of God? Y'all want me to talk about it? Huh? Y'all want me to talk about it? Because I'll talk about it. If y'all want to know the truth, y'all want to know the truth? Because that's the problem. We operating off lies. We operating off lies. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. The truth is this. God and the understanding of God, the experiences of the people that are talked about in the Bible, were appropriated by people who had a very different cultural worldview. They were a culture of either or, this or that, right? But it was developed in a culture of this and that. Y'all understand what I'm telling you? Listen. Some folks gonna feel some type of way today. They gonna have to. The people that were in the Bible looked like us, like me. If you are melanated, like you. People don't want to admit it. People don't want to acknowledge it. But we are the originals. And it doesn't make us better than other people, but you need to know who you are. That is why Africa is mentioned so many times. The countries in Africa are mentioned so many times in the Bible. Why? Because that's where things happened. That's where it took place. So when it's talking about Egypt and, Mary and Joseph going to Egypt to hide baby Jesus, how could they hide him in a land full of dark-skinned brown people if they didn't look like that? Doesn't make sense. It's not logical. But we have been given a whitewashed Christianity. Now, listen, I'm not down in Christianity at all. But that whitewashed version, that's dead to me. Like, I know who these people were. I know. I'm not confused about it any stretch of the imagination. And I love my white brothers and sisters just the same. See, I can love people who don't look like me and still know the truth about me. We're coming out of Black History Month. I know. And I know people may not have wanted to talk about this stuff. The church don't do a lot of talking about this part, right? But it's the truth. And the sad part is that science has acknowledged it. The oldest human remains were a Black woman in Africa. Come on, y'all. So when you think about Eve and you see Eve, the white woman with the long blonde hair that's flowing, and the hair is flowing over the front of her, covering her private parts, that ain't real. When you see the pictures of Jesus and he's the white man, which is really Michelangelo's drunk uncle that he painted as the symbol of Jesus. Can y'all imagine that? Like, we looking at this picture of Jesus, it's a drunk white man, somebody's drunk uncle. And we're saying, oh, Jesus, that's not Jesus. Okay? See, this is the problem that we get into. And then as people of color, we idealize white. We make white better than everything else. And now we got a whole inferiority complex that we were never created to have. And now the video is going on around the white man that's talking to the white people in the congregation, telling them, y'all better get over your problems with Black people. Y'all better not put your mouth on Black. You better shut your white mouth up. Shut your white mouth up. Talking about Black people. Shut it up. Those are God's people. Now, some people will hear that now because the white man said it. The white man said that we God's people. We've been God's people. That has not, like, it didn't take a white man to declare that for it to be the truth, for it to be factual. That's a whole nother conversation. See, because let me tell you something. This whole misappropriation thing is a cultural thing that has happened over centuries. And, listen, it's not new. It's something that is a tool that is used by the enemy to confuse and confound us about our identity. It has been done with Christians to confuse us and confound us about who we are. We are God with little g. Not God with a big G, but God with the little g. God with a big G resides inside of us. Not outside, not up in the sky, like inside of us. And so we're sitting around, walking around, looking up to God. Listen, God is in here. You look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and see if you see him. And if you don't, you need to ask yourself why the God in you is not showing up. Because it's not that he's not there. It's that you're not letting him show up. You letting your flesh show up, your natural show up. But you got to be able to look in the mirror and see God. See, I can look in the mirror and I recognize when I'm not seeing God. That's a little bit too much of me right there. I need to see God. I need to tap in so that he can show up. None of this is what I plan on talking about. None. But I'm convinced that God's tired. I'm convinced that he's tired. He's sick and tired of religion. He's sick and tired of church and church folks who are misappropriately using his name and misappropriating him and his messages and all of that. Like, I'm telling you, he's tired. He's tired of us elevating white men up on a pedestal because they said some stuff that they interpreted that is not an accurate interpretation of the scriptures that were spoken by the Most High. He's tired. He's tired of us limiting our understanding to the 66 books that were handed to us for a reason, right? Because they give a tainted, a limited view. I'm not going to say tainted, I'm going to say a limited view of who Jesus was. He's tired. We want to deify the God in Jesus, but deny the humanity of Jesus. Man, you miss me with that. You miss me with that. When Jesus flipped them tables over, he cussed. Y'all can get mad at me if you want to. He cussed. Told them people, get this out my daddy's house. What? Come on, y'all. But we want to make a cuss a sin. Oh, she cussed. Y'all, we miss it. We miss it so badly. And then we wonder why people don't fool with church folk. I see why they don't F with you. I don't want to F with you. Because it's lies. You perpetuate lies and then you present them as the truth and then you tell everybody else they wrong and they crazy. They're not. They're not. Pastors want to be deified. You're not God with a capital G. The same God that's in you is the same God that's in me. Do y'all hear what I'm telling you? Though I pastor, the same God that is in me is the same God that is in you. Don't put me on no pedestal. Because I promise you, I'm stepping down. No, I'm not going to fall off. I'm going to get off the pedestal. So yeah, I'm going to throw a cuss out there every now and then so you'll know, don't put her on a pedestal. I'm going to tell you my flaws so you'll know, don't put her on no pedestal. It's not about you worshiping and deifying me. It's about you worshiping God. Yeah, the God that resides inside of you. Come on. So that you can be who he created you to be. We are God in the earth and we are supposed to show up like that. It's time out. It's time out. It's time out for the foolery and the effery. Time out. God is tired. You know, I read the Bible a little differently and God speaks to me a little differently. Like God speaks to me like he talked to me like real talk to me. Now, I'm not telling you how God talks to you. God talks to us, I believe, in whatever way we will best understand. And this is what you need to understand. So you can't tell people God didn't say that to you because you don't know how God talks to them, right? You know how God talks to you. I'm telling y'all how God talks to me. God talks to me very real and very raw. He used some words that y'all might say God would never use that word. Well, I'm telling y'all, God used the word with me. I'm just telling y'all. I'm telling y'all how God talks to me. Now, y'all can say, oh, that's the enemy talking to you. No, it ain't the enemy. I know the voice of God because the voice of God is what tells me to do the things that I don't want to do. Like say this ish right now. This is not my plan. I just came on to tell y'all do it anyway. Nice little cute message. He said, no, do it anyway. Here we go with this ish. Always want me to say the stuff that people are going to crucify me for. Absolutely. See, we're in the Lent season. You know, people are sacrificing things. They're giving things up. But listen, let me ask you this. Will you give up your reputation to be of no reputation for God to do what he wants to do in the earth through you, through your mouth, your words, what you do? Will you do that? Will you take the blows that people are going to hit you with? Will you take the words that they're going to say against you? Will you do that? Oh, no, you won't do that, but you'll give up meat. You might as well eat that meat. Eat the meat. Eat the sweets. Drink the soda. Because if you're doing that and you're not willing to do what God is telling you to do, you are sacrificing. You are not being obedient. And God does not care anything about your sacrifices. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So any pushback, any attacks that I get as a result of this, I'm here for it. You know why? I ain't no punk. That's one thing I'm not. If I did it, I'll say I did it. If I said it, I'll say I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I did it. See, you can miss me with that scary stuff. I ain't scared. This right here is my problem with a lot of people in church. Because let me tell you something. Church people are real good at showing up in church the way that they are supposed to show up, but not how they really are. Pause. Let that marinate for a minute. You show up one way in public, another way in private. And you say it is to protect the people. No, nigga, it's to protect you. Your reputation. You don't want people to know what you really do, who you really are, that you really don't come up with your own sermons, that you call your boys and my man, listen, I need a message. I need a message. You don't want nobody to know that. You ain't getting no fresh revelation from God. You're getting regurgitated information from somebody else. You reciting other people's sermons. Miss me with it. Do you hear what I'm telling y'all? Y'all better Google some of these messages and see if you don't see them and that they've been preached before from other people. Google it. I'm not lying. And I'm not saying this to denigrate the pastorate. I'm not saying this to downplay the significance of the role of pastor, but I'm calling a spade, okay? Stop putting pastors on a pedestal. Then you'll save yourself a lot of disappointment and heartache and church hurt. You see, wherever there are people, there's going to be hurt. Wherever there are people, there's going to be hurt. Why? People are human and they are flawed. They're going to mess up. They're going to make mistakes. And they're going to say stuff that hurts your feelings. And they may not know it's going to hurt your feelings. And they may know. They may have intended to hurt your feelings. You know, you're going to encounter people who are passive aggressive. So they may not say it, like they may wait till they're behind the pulpit to say some stuff that should have been said to you one-on-one in private. Like it should have been handled man to man, woman to woman, man to woman, whatever. But they handled it behind the pulpit. You're going to get some of that. Why? People are human. You're going to get it. So stop being hurt by it. You're going to get people who are struggling with the thing, overcompensating for a thing. Thus, all of this talk about homosexuality in the church. Because many of the pastors are gay on the down low with wives and children, whole first family. They don't even like puss. They like ping, in the words of Larry Reid. Now the first lady's trying to figure out what's wrong with her. She's trying to figure out why her husband doesn't want to be intimate with her. Girl, it ain't you. Ain't nothing wrong with your coochie. Your coochie is fine. He just don't like that. But we don't want to talk about that stuff because that stuff pulls back the veil. And today, I'm pulling back the veil. Because the veil is the thing that has kept us separated from God and it's keeping other people from coming to God. The truth of the matter is, it is our humanity that people most connect with. The reason people watch me and listen to me and stuff is because they know I'm finna tell the truth. I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to give them the real. I'm not going to act like I'm somebody that I'm not. Like, I'm literally going to tell you who I am. You do not have to wonder, who is this Dr. V? I'm finna tell y'all. Y'all gonna know. Why is that? Why do I do that? Because God has commanded it of me. Listen, I knew that this whole journey was going to be a little different for me when I had committed adultery, had an affair, and it wasn't an accident. Let me be very clear. It was not an accident. I had multiple opportunities to exit the situation. In fact, the man gave me multiple opportunities. And now listen, now you sure you want to do this? Because, I just want you to think about this, Listen, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to give you some time to think about it, Okay. I thought about it and still did what I did. I did that. My husband didn't do it. He didn't cause it. I chose that. Now, were there challenges in our marriage at the time? There absolutely were. Were there things that we were dealing with? There absolutely were. Yeah, there were. There were things that were going on, everything flowing. It was not, right? But I chose to step out of my vows and into a situation that was not ordained of God. Like, that was not of God. I couldn't make it of God. I'm not going to try to make it of God. I'm not going to make no excuses for it. I chose to commit adultery. I chose that thing. And it cost me. But check this out. God made me confess in front of the whole freaking church. What? I had been ordained. Like, I'm telling you, this is why people that want to run and become preachers and pastors, I'd be like, you done lost your mind. Do you know what comes with that? Because I'm telling you, after my ordination, it was like the attacks came extra heavy. And I tried to get help in the church. Y'all, listen, this is what I want to tell y'all, because I need you to know, if you're in leadership in the church, I need you to do some different things when it comes to giving people strategies for not stepping into sin. I'm not even going to say falling into sin, because I didn't fall into nothing. I stepped into it, okay? Because I'm a grown A woman. I made a decision. I acted on the decision, and I experienced the results of the decision. So this is what God did. God took me on this whole journey. I had to tell my pastor, told my husband. Listen, y'all, I told him. Yep, I did it. So freaking yep, I did. This is what happened. This is where we at now. What we doing? I'm good either way. What we doing? Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all something. People say a lot of things about me, but I'm not afraid to own my stuff. I'm gonna own it. Now, I'm gonna own it. I'll repent, but you're not gonna beat me up about it. If you're gonna beat me up about it, we need to just part ways. I'm good with that. It's okay. I understand. I get it. I hurt you. I violated our vows. I get that. I'm willing to own that. And if we need to separate, that's what we need to do. I'm good on that, right? I understand it. I get it. I don't take it personally. I understand. But I remember when I had to go tell my pastor, told my pastor, said, okay, well, I'm gonna have to sit you down. Okay. So I went on this whole journey in the Word. And I remember it was Communion Sunday. And God took me on this journey about confession, public confession versus private confession. And he told me I have to make a public confession. I ain't seen nobody else making no public confessions. I know I ain't the only person in this church that has committed adultery. And I know I'm not the only person in ministry that's committed adultery. Why do I have to make a public confession? I'm confused about this, God. He said, you have to make a public confession. So what did I do? I did what God said me to do. I'm grateful that my husband stood up there with me. But before I went to church, I had to have a conversation with my children. I had to tell them what I had done. My husband came up there with me, and I told the people, forgive me for how I've sinned. And God laughed at me. What? Oh, you thought you was Catholic. Nah, bro, you ain't Catholic. What you talking about? Name it. I didn't want to name it because I said I'm not crying to try to make nobody forgive me. Like, I don't want that sympathy. Because y'all know I'm a G. Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, I ain't new to this gangster stuff. And I'm not a gangster's like in the streets gangbanging or nothing. But listen, God has given me a gangster spirit. And I believe it's because I am a prophet and I am a warrior and I am an apostle. And in that office, you got to be able to handle bullets. You got to be able to own stuff, produce order. You got to be able to take it. You can't just dish stuff out. A lot of people dish it out and they can't take it. That's not me. If I can dish it, I can take it. Like, I ain't scared of it. So I had to tell the people that I committed adultery. And I cried. Not to get people's sympathy, but I cried because I broke God's heart. Because I violated my vows. Because people looked at me with admiration and esteem, and they had me on a pedestal. And I knew that me falling could affect them. And it hurt that I had disappointed God, that I had disappointed my husband, that I had disappointed my pastor, that I had disappointed people who loved me and believed in me. And I was the first woman that my pastor had ordained. And I knew that what I just done was going to make it harder for the next woman. Now, does that mean the men didn't commit adultery? Yeah, they did. But everyone is not wired like I'm wired. And I get that. And I did something that most people wouldn't do. I came clean. And the funny thing is that that was a defining moment in ministry for me. Because what God told me is, he said, now, you will always have to tell the truth. You'll be that one. So before you do something, you better be prepared to tell it. Because if you ain't prepared to tell it, the best thing for you to do is not do it. What? Why me? He said, because I need somebody who will just be transparent, who will be real, so that the people will know that there's some realness here. So when you guys hear me tell you stuff, when you hear me say stuff and people say, oh, that's too much information, you shouldn't tell that, I tell it because it keeps me straight. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me in a place where, hey, I'm not just out here wilding, because I could be out here wilding at any moment. I am not. Hear me when I tell you, I am not excused from the ability to wild out. I'm not. We get so caught up and we think, oh, I'll never do this and I never do that. I don't say what I'll never do, because I know me. I know my issues, my challenges, and my struggles. And so therefore, I know what my thorn is. That's why God made me give him my coochie. Now, sis, you will get out of hand. So let me rein this in, okay? Because I ain't got time for you to be out of hand. And since you don't have a husband right now, which is one of the reasons I like being married, right? Because it's reined in, right? Since you're not married right now, you're going to have to be married to me, because I need control of that region. Okay, God. Dog. Y'all, listen. Don't let anybody make you feel ashamed of any challenge that you have in your life. Don't let anybody make you feel ashamed of your authenticity or your transparency. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed because you still have stuff you haven't overcome. No, don't. No. No, shame is not of God. And the moment people start trying to make you feel ashamed, you need to question, what is it that they're ashamed of that they don't want to deal with? Why your focus and your energy is so much on me? What is that about? Because it's about something, I promise you. It's about something. And so when you get real clear that God, okay, listen, for you, I live, I breathe, I have my being and I die to myself. For you, God. Not for the pastor, not for the people, but for you. See, people do good at faking for everybody else, but you can't fake for God. God knows everything. He knows you cuss, smoke, drink, sex. He knows everything, that you lie, that you are jealous and angry and bitter. He knows everything. Just ain't new to God. God knows you. So why are you so busy putting on a front for other people? And that is why you are still in bondage and you can't get free from nothing. That's why. God know you hoeing. You know, it's not a secret. But you never can get free because you never can allow the real you to show up because you're afraid of what people are going to say. You're afraid of it. Listen, people can say what they want to about me. That ain't my business. That's their business. What they believe about me, how they see me, that's their business. How you see me, that's your business. Whether that's good or bad, it's still your business. See, the moment I get caught up in how people see me is the moment I lose sight of whose vision is most important, and that's God's, because he knows everything about me. See, y'all might love me. Y'all be riding for me. Oh, Dr. V real, until the day Dr. V say some stuff that y'all don't like. And then y'all look at me like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. She is not a real woman of God. Listen, I'm the same woman of God today that I was when you was on my job. Same woman. Didn't change. So what changed? If I didn't change, what changed? Or who changed? Maybe your perception of me changed. Maybe you changed. If I didn't change, what's different now? It's time for you all to divorce the opinions of others, the views of others. Sunday after service, it was an amazing day. Service was amazing. Shout out to Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries team and people who were on live. You guys, I love you all. Listen, we had our first live service on Sunday. And after service, like it was like, I was like, God, you did that ish. God, you did that. Like for real, God did that. When I tell you that God orchestrated that thing, God laid that thing out. God had me looking like I was television evangelist. I said, God, what you do? We went to eat. We had a good time. We had our ministry meeting afterwards. Shout out to my team, for real. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. And I came home. I took a nap. I did a class. I finished the class. And I went back and I was reflecting on the service. I said, wow, God, you did that. And then I had a down moment. And I said, I wish I had somebody to really dig into this with, right? I wish I had someone that I could just really talk about, like, the whole experience, what it was like, like a boo, right? And God said, hold on. Just hold on. Just hold on. I say that to say this. Even in our greatest highs, we are relational beings. What does that mean? People are an important part of our life. So when I say divorce the opinions of others, I don't mean divorce others and not be connected to people. God, this is good. Hold on. Somebody write this down. Somebody write this down. This is good stuff. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. This is good. When I say divorce the opinions of others, I don't mean divorce others. I mean acknowledge that you need people in your life, but don't make their opinion so important that you can't do what God says. I have people that I love, and I love having them in my life. But if their opinion or what they say is contrary to what God is saying, that doesn't mean I change my opinion or my movement. God, this is good. Because what we'll do is, instead of divorcing the opinions of others, we divorce others, period. I'm good at that. I'll cut you out of my life. But baby, let me tell you something. You'll get cut out. It'll be as though you what? Never existed. Used to be real good at that. Just poof. They're gone. Who? Oh, I forgot. This is not the season for that. This is the season for you to divorce the opinions of others, but love other people. You don't have to get rid of every relationship in your life to move forward. You may have to change relationships. You may have to shift some things. You may have to change your circle. You may have to do some things like that, but it doesn't mean that you cancel people. You don't have to cancel people to do that. You may interact differently. Doesn't mean they're canceled. We need each other. If we didn't need each other, God would not have given us such a relational situation. When you think about it, when you think about Adam, the word says that, God made womb man so that he would not be alone, because he said it's not good for man to be alone. It's not good. So I'm going to give you a helpmeet, someone to help you meet the work that I've given you, help you meet your goals and your aspirations, help you meet your destiny, help you meet that. I know you're sick of people. Love them anyway. I know that you are tired and frustrated with life right now. Live it anyway. I know that you may want change desperately right now, but it doesn't seem like it's coming, or it doesn't seem like it's coming fast enough. Continue anyway. I know God may have told you to do something. You like, I don't know what people are going to think about this. Do it anyway. And let God work out the details. This live is brought to you by God, because I sure didn't want to say all of this. This was a lot. This was packed. I might have to go back and look at this, because this was a lot in here. But I believe that God had me do this on today, because on tomorrow, I don't know, I got a friend, she hates when people say on and then something. On tomorrow, on today, right? It's like, that is not grammatically correct. Shout out to Erica. But on tomorrow, we are having what the world would say is Bible study. That's not what I call it. I call it let's get raw. Let's get raw. Real, authentic word. How about that? Real, authentic word. Okay? It's called Let's Get Raw. Work the word. We're going to work the word, and we're talking about God's heart. That's what we're talking about. If you haven't joined Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Fellowship Group, then you definitely want to do that. If one of my admin team would drop that link in the comments for people, I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys will look in the comments, you should find the link for you to click, for you to join that fellowship group so that you can see what we're doing. And this is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be on Zoom. It's going to be a little different. I'm not going to stand up or sit down and just talk to you guys. No, we're going to engage it. In fact, you have homework to do before Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is to examine the scriptures where it talks about, David being a man after God's own heart, right? What does it mean to be after God's own heart? What is God's heart, right? You got to know what God's heart is, right? And I think the problem is we get confused about what God's heart is. And so we miss it. So join Let's Get Raw. work the word, and join our Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose fellowship group. And my admin team, they're working, they're looking for the link now. They're going to find the link. They're going to post it in the comments. So just come back and get the comments, look in the comments and you'll see it. And if you say you want to join, I'll have them. Now, if they're not connected to you, like, it makes it difficult. But what I'll have them do is to comment the link underneath. So if you want to join, say, I want to join, and we'll have them put the link underneath your comment. So you'll be able to go back and click the link and join the group. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this because I believe in being 100% clear about what's happening as it relates to ministry with me right now. I am creating a bridge across denominations, across religions, across beliefs, for people to really come together and study the heart of God. Yes, we are using the Bible. We are using the scriptures. We absolutely are. I don't want you to be confused about that. But I'm creating a bridge. I am a bridge. I am a unifier. I am not a divider, right? There are ministries that are dividing ministries. I believe different people have different callings. My calling is one of love. I have a ministry of love. I have a ministry of compassion. I have a ministry of manifestation, helping people to manifest that which God has promised them. That's my ministry. I'm not coming against any other ministry. I'm talking about the ministry that God has given me. It is a ministry of reconciliation to reconcile people back to God. So that's what I do. That's my mission. That's my mandate. And that's my focus. So let's get raw tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be about an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to try to keep it in that, but you guys need to come prepared with homework. Once you get in the group, there is a post for Bible study that tells you how you can do it. And you may say, but Dr. V, I'm not a Bible scholar. And in the post, I tell you, me neither. I'm not a Bible scholar either. But I am about relationship with God. And the only way you can have a relationship with someone is to understand them, to interact with them, to communicate with them. And even as you're studying, this is not an intellectual endeavor. This is not to see who can put the most Greek and Hebrew words in and tell their meanings. This is about really getting revelatory understanding from God and using the word to do so. So listen, miss me with all that Bible school academia. I'm not with that, okay? So I want y'all to know, for all the Bible scholars that want to, espouse, all that they have learned from the great white theologians of the world, miss me with it. I want us to be in a place where we can go into the word of God for ourselves, really dig into the word of God and ask God for his revelation. See, I believe that what we're missing is God's revelation and God's breath on his word. So yes, we can have all these things that we think, but what is God saying to you about this? That's important. And this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to discount or devalue what God is saying to you. Okay? Because if God is saying that to you, there's a reason that God is saying it to you. Don't allow people to make you feel bad for what God is saying to you. Hey, Adon, how you doing, beautiful? So you guys, listen, I've been on here longer than I had intended. But God was speaking and I had to speak all that he had me to speak until he was done talking. He's done now, I'm done, okay? So join us at Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries Fellowship Group. Put I want to join. We're going to get raw tomorrow. It's Let's Get Raw, Work the Word tomorrow, which is our equivalent of Bible study. It is real, authentic word. We're doing work. We're working the word. We're not just reading the word. We're working the word. So if you're ready to work the word, put the word to work in your life so that you can see manifestation, so that you can have God work you, work your heart, your mind, your spirit, your being, so that you can be more in alignment with who he needs you to be for the kingdom. Definitely tune in, right? And if you want to be a part of Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries, you don't have a church home. You're looking for a church. You've not been connected really to a church since the pandemic happened. You haven't been going to a physical building, and you've not necessarily connected totally with an online ministry, and you're looking for a place to plant your flag, a place where you can be real and authentic, and you can learn, and you can grow, and you can develop, and the promises of God can be made manifest in your life if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a place to lock arms with a pastor that's going to be real and raw, I'm going to keep it real. I promise you that. That will not change about me. Listen, that's me all day, every day. Then I definitely encourage you to lock arms with Passionate Pursuit. If you want to be a member, and remember, membership has its privileges, but it also has its responsibilities. If you want to be a member of Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries, I want you to say, I want to be a member. I want to be a member. Now, that's different from I want to join the Bible study, like the fellowship group. Like, that's cool. You can just do that. You don't have to be a member. But if you want to be a member, say, I want to be a member. I want to be a member. And let us get you plugged in. We're working on our membership orientation and stuff. Y'all, God is doing everything as we go along. So I'm just watching God do it. I'm just doing what he says, do as he says, do it. This is a very different kind of experience. It is a virtual and a live experience. So everyone is included. So everyone can be a part. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can be a part of Passionate Pursuit. You can be a part. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can be a member of Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries. Listen, we're doing this thing, and we're doing it the way that God has ordained. And I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for leaders. Let me say that again. I'm looking for leaders. It's great to have people who are lay people, but I'm looking for leaders. I know that I have a mandate to raise up leaders to go and take off. That's what we're doing. We're raising up leaders to take off and do the ministry that God has given you. Not only that, we're going to find a way for you to do your ministry within the confines of Passionate Pursuit. Because Passionate Pursuit is not about Dr. V. It's about the kingdom. It's about us. It's about us being able to be who God has called us to be, fully and completely, in a space with other people who are who God has called them to be, fully and completely. No jealousy, no envy, no competition. It's all about, well, there will be some competition, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all, there is going to be some competition. Because listen, I know some of us need a little competition. So there are going to be things built in where there's some competition involved so that you can have that met. I know you might need that, like me, okay? So there is going to be some things that we do. We're going to do things. We're going to have fun. It's more than church. It's more than church, y'all. I promise you. It is fellowship. It is growth. It is becoming who God has created us to be. So make sure that you join the fellowship group. Make sure that you are in Let's Get Raw tomorrow night. We're going to work the word together. Make sure you do your homework. I put some guidelines and some tips in there, some things to help you. If you say you're not a Bible scholar, because I told y'all I'm not a Bible scholar either, but I am about relationship with my daddy. So listen, I just learned some things that help me to understand him a little better, right? So we're going to do that together. And then Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries fellowship, our Sunday fellowship happens. You guys, it's going to be live. It'll be on my page. It'll be in some different groups and stuff. We're working on the ministry page and stuff. That's coming. And I'm looking for people. I'm looking for people who do graphics, who do logos, who do those things, who want to sow that into the ministry. I'm looking for those people who want to lock arms with us and help create the image, the face of this ministry. So listen, I need you guys. I need you because I will not do this by myself. Whatever your gifts and talents are, bring them to the body. One body, many members, and every member has a role, okay? So when you get in the group, make sure that you do your spiritual gifts test, your 16 personalities test, your BARC, your learning assessment test, and your love languages test. So we have some work that we do because we want to understand each other. We want to know you. We want to know those that labor among us, right? All of that is important. So you guys, with that said, let me say this. I want to make this declaration over your life. Whew, my God, today, my God, today. I declare and decree. Let me put the cup down. Don't spill. That everything your hands touch will prosper. And every place your feet tread, God has already given you dominion. That your worst days are behind you and your best days are in front of you. That the promises of God for your life are yea and amen. Yes, and let it be so. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Love you to life. and life more abundant.